Hi everyone, it's Thursday and I'm going to do another instalment of Birky's Booktime. I'd just like to give a special mention today to a very special lady who's been tuning in, Sue Bergin, affectionately known as Subo. Welcome, Sue. I'm really glad that you're enjoying the story as well. And also to someone in my class, Alexander, who left a lovely message yesterday to say that he'd also really enjoyed the story. So Alexander, this is the next instalment, it's chapter 1, and I hope you enjoy this. I brought on Archibald as well. Archie! Archie! Here he is. Hi Archibald. He's enjoying listening to these stories as well, so hopefully he'll go back to sleep. Go back to sleep, Arch. Okay, here we go. Let's get on with chapter 1. Oh, apologies in advance. The bad accents are going to start coming out now. My class know all about my bad accents. Lily wrinkled her freckled nose as she trudged along at the back of the line of girls. With each step, her heart beat hard in her chest, and her green eyes flicked across the dog-eared pages of her beloved Penny Dreadful, hidden inside her schoolbook. She was enjoying a particularly gory scene in Varney the Vampire versus the Air Pirates, where Varney had captured the heroine in the disused attic of an Italian boarding school and was preparing to feast on her blood. Lily had her pencil poised to mark up the most gruesome passages of the magazine so she could reread them later at her leisure. Another dubious volume, balanced on the crown of her head, wobbled with each step, but she didn't let it distract her from Varney. Heads up, eyes straight. With one copy of the Oxford Guide to Perfect Poise balanced on her head, Mrs. McCracken, Lily's middle-aged department teacher, led the gaggle of girls in a circle around the great hall, her feet flapping across the polished wooden floor. The Kraken, Lily called her, though never to her face. That would be far too risky. The Kraken was somewhat obsessed with posture. As for Lily, she barely gave it a second thought. In her opinion, it was better to read books than to balance them on your head. That's what they were designed for after all. And if you wanted to wear something on your head, there was a perfectly good item designed for that too. It was called a hat. Lily sneaked a brief glance at the other girls in her class. At the front of the line, Miss Lucretia Blackwell had her prim nose stuck in the air and 3 copies of Sensible Etiquette for the Best Occasions balanced on her perfectly coiffed hair. Second came Miss Alice Harvey, who had 7 copies of Butterwick's Guide to Better Manners balanced on her donut plait. With that monstrous hairbuncle, it was no surprise she never dropped a single copy. Miss Gemma Ruddle was next. She had 4 precarious copies of The Lady's Manual of Politeness balanced, and would stop after each step and pretend to scratch her ear so she could adjust her leaning tower of literature. Lily had long ago noticed the other girls never read in posture class. It seemed thinking and walking simultaneously was too difficult for them. She doubted a single important thought ever floated through their minds. If Spring-Heeled Jack, or Varney the Vampire, or the Air Pirates, or any of the other blackguards who roamed England ever caught any of those girls in a dark alley, they'd be dead for sure. Dead before they'd practiced their conversational French. Dead before they'd politely discussed the weather, or asked, tea or coffee. In short, dead before their perfectly poised bodies struck the cobbles. And what use was deportment to one dead? No use. No use whatsoever. Stop! The Kraken yelled, and one by one the girls stopped in a neat line behind her, all except Lily, who, having failed to notice her untied shoelaces, tripped, stepped on Gemma's foot, and fell. Ouch! Gemma staggered forward, clutching at Alice to try and keep her balance, but in vain. Her 4 copies of The Lady's Manual of Politeness slipped from her head. Careful! Alice cried, dropping 7 copies of Butterwick's Guide to Better Manners. Thud, 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 thud. Lucretia wobbled from side to side, grasping at the top of her head, but she was too late. 3 copies of Sensible Etiquette for the Best Occasions slipped from her brow and scattered at her feet in a crash of fluttering pages. Oh, why don't you pay attention, you galumping lump? The Kraken shouted. What have you got to say for yourself? Lily gazed up from the sea of fallen books. Was the woman talking to her? Sorry, she tried. The Kraken huffed. Oh, what have you got to say for yourself? Oh, never mind. She took the Oxford Guide to Perfect Poise from her head and threw it at Lily, who ducked as the heavy tome glanced past her ear. You've been reading. You're not allowed to read in my class. I thought, and no thinking either. The Kraken folded her arms across her chest. She turned a most putrid shade of puce. It perfectly matched her purple dress. Perhaps it was her tight corsets that made her face flush so. The bell rang, and the other girls scrabbled along the floor, grabbing their books and slamming them shut. They piled the volumes on the Kraken's desk and lined up against the wall, waiting for the signal to leave. You may go, the Kraken said, waving them off with a hand, and the crocodile of young ladies filed out, whispering maliciously to one another. Lily dusted down her tights and stood to join them. Not you, Miss Grantham. I want words with you. The Kraken waddled towards her. Why is it that you think you can ignore my lessons in favour of these tall tales? She plucked the schoolbook from Lily's hands and examined the gory magazine hidden in its pages, paying particular attention to the image of a bloody corpse with bat wings. Where on earth did you get this balderdash? Papa sent it in his last care package, miss. He knows I like the penny dreadfuls. Does he indeed? The Kraken looked unimpressed. Lily continued. He believes one should read a lot wider than deportment manuals if one plans to get an exceptional education. Don't you agree? The Kraken weighed the magazine in her hand. No, she said. I don't. Besides, this sort of bunkum is not approved of by the Academy. It has no educational value. It teaches piracy and air combat, miss. And what young lady needs to know that? The Kraken took a deep breath. No, I'm afraid, Miss Grantham, I'll have to confiscate it. And if you've any similar stories, you'd better hand them to me right away. Lily shrugged. I don't have any single of the magazines of that kind. Nonsense. You've one there. I beg your pardon, where? The one you're hiding. The Kraken craned her neck, trying to see what Lily had behind her back. Lily passed the magazine from her left hand to her right. I don't know what you mean. Give it to me. The Kraken held out her shovel of a palm. Fine, Lily glowered, handing over Spring-Heeled Jack and the Blackguards. There. That wasn't so hard, was it? The Kraken wedged both magazines under her sweaty armpit. No, ma'am. Good. The Kraken handed Lily back her schoolbook. Remember, she said, waggling a single finger, if you've any more of these dreadful things, you can be sure I'll find them. Now, run along. You don't want to be late for your next lesson. And straighten your pinny. It's as wrinkled as our elephant's ear. Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am. Lily brushed at her creased pinny with ink-stained fingers and gave the Kraken a curtsy. But when the woman returned to her desk, Lily stuck her tongue out at her broad retreating backside. Then, with as much poise as she could muster, she flounced to the door and hurried off down the passage. And that's all for now. I think Archibald enjoyed that. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit more later. I will be posting instalment 2 of chapter 1 a little bit later. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed that. See you soon. Bye.